Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining us this evening on this webinar, Live Blood Analysis, the cost of setting up your live blood analysis practice. We have been asked so many times about the cost of setting up a live blood analysis practice, including microscopes, equipment, etc. So we've put this webinar together with the aim of covering all the costs involved, as well as discussing the best choice of equipment. So I am your presenter, Elizabeth Clemens, from Live Blood Online and Neogenesis Systems online training course. And we have with us this evening Dr. Oka Botha, our training tutor and microscope expert. So I will cover the basic equipment needed, then we'll discuss each of these in a little bit more detail. So please do ask questions throughout. You should see a panel on your screen where you can enter questions. Have a look at that and familiarise yourself with it. If you could please send us a quick yes in the box to let us know that you have located it. We would appreciate that. We'll give you a few minutes to do that. If you have any problems, please just drop us a quick email. We'll be watching the emails, and that's info@livebloodonline.com. So just send us a message to say yes if you have found your questions box okay. Yes, thank you very much. Okay. Right, so let's get started. Setting up equipment and costs. The equipment required: microscope, lighting, camera and screen. The microscopes, please see our specs and recommendations at www.livebloodonline.com. It's also in our information pack. If you do want us to send you a link to that, just drop us an email and we'll send you a link to that. So this is the microscope, and you will need a laptop or screen. And the view of the live blood is usually connected from the microscope to the screen of your laptop or PC, or a separate screen can be used if you prefer. We also deliver very high quality microscopes at very competitive prices to attendees all over the world on a regular basis, and we'll be happy to give you a quote on that. So it's very important choosing the right microscope, camera and lighting equipment. So we're going to ask Dr. Oka now for his advice on choosing the right equipment. And hello, Dr. Oka, we have a few questions for you here.
Hi, good evening. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Yes, so are there any shortcuts that can be made when buying a microscope?
Well, that's actually where, it becomes quite difficult. It is quite a costly procedure to set up a live blood practice, mainly because of the cost of the equipment. And, students do from time to time look for alternatives. But I've been involved with live blood analysis now for nearly 15 years, and we've really did a lot of work researching all the different types of microscopes available on the market. From the top of the range, well-known brands of microscopes, right down to the cheaper microscopes from China, and it's really very difficult to get a reliable system at a cheaper rate than what we're currently offering them at. We basically have the best systems that will allow you to do the work that you need to do in live blood, will allow you to see what you need to see in live blood as well, and will actually be reliable at the best price.
Okay, well, we're getting questions about the cheaper microscopes, especially from India and China, that are advertised on eBay and the web. In fact, there's two questions here together, which, if you could answer them together. Why do they say they are for live blood analysis if they won't do the job?
All right. Well, look, I think that just comes down to a little bit of ignorance on the part of the company selling these microscopes. We offer the training in live blood analysis. It's our our main core business is live blood analysis. That's what we really specialize in. So we're very much familiar with exactly what you need in a live blood system to enable you to use blood analysis properly. A lot of the other companies are microscope manufacturers that are familiar with dark field, but they're not necessarily familiar with the type of dark field required in live blood analysis. So we often find microscopes advertised for live blood analysis and advertised for dark field, but when you look at the specifications, you can see that it really won't be up to the correct standard to be used for proper live blood practice. For example, a lot of these systems would have a USB camera that would plug directly into your computer, which seems quite convenient, but the problem with the USB cameras is that the frame rate on the video is actually not so good. So when you're viewing live blood, you're not just looking at a still image, you're moving around in the blood sample. And because of the poor frame rate with these cameras, you don't really get a very good quality video in there. And then also the software with these cameras are often not very user-friendly. The interface is not very easy to work with, so practitioners tend to get distracted by having to change settings on the software between the different applications in live blood analysis, going between bright field and dark field, for example, and that becomes a bit of a problem for them in their practice. So that's just one example, but the most often the issue we encounter most often is actually with the dark field, that it's the wrong type of dark field objective that's supplied. It doesn't give you the correct degree of contrast in a live blood sample, or that simply the illumination is just not bright enough. You do need, with live blood analysis, to see the majority of the things that we look for in dark field. You actually need a very, very high quality dark field system, which requires a very specific type of dark field objective and a very bright type of illumination. So most of your standard microscopes that are available just don't provide you with the correct amount of illumination.
I see, thank you. So basically they don't really know the specialization of live blood analysis.
Exactly, and then also there are shortcuts taken by a lot of these companies, so they're able to provide a microscope at a much cheaper price, but when you actually look at the components, the build quality is really not good at all. I've seen microscopes that have plastic components that our microscopes actually have components made of brass. Things like the gears in the microscope that are really, really important. I mean, that's something that you use with every single analysis. You'd use the focusing mechanism. And I've seen microscopes where the gears are actually made of cast iron, which really,
Wow.
that it wouldn't last long at all. So, you using live blood analysis, you would actually ideally would become very busy. Most practitioners become very reliant on their microscopes, and for a microscope to break down in the middle of a busy practice is really a big problem. You have a fully booked calendar, and suddenly you have a microscope that doesn't work. So that's also something that's very, very important for us, to ensure that these microscopes are reliable, that they're not going to break, after a few months.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question here is, are there any second-hand microscopes available that fit the specifications?
Well, you do get them from time to time, we sort of keep an eye on what's available on the sort of second-hand market, and we do email those systems out to prospective clients on them. So if you like, then I'm sure that you'd be able to put them on a hot list for an email about these systems if something becomes available.
Right. Well, also, Live Blood Online, we keep our eye on the second-hand market, and we do email a regular newsletter out now with updates on second-hand microscopes available. There is actually one available now. If anybody is interested, please do drop us an email. It's a Neogenesis recommended microscope that's available now second-hand. So that is available. Please let us know if you're interested. And also for microscope information, specifications and our recommended prices, have a look at www.livebloodonline.com. Are there any more questions regarding microscopes? Let me see. Yeah, how long does it take to get to be able to use a microscope for live blood analysis proficiently?
Well, it does take quite a bit of practice to get used to using a microscope. If you spend time behind the microscope taking blood samples, practicing on colleagues and family and friends, taking samples and going from bright field to dark field, viewing the samples and adjusting the settings on the microscopes and so on. If you do that regularly, we generally find that our students are proficient with their microscopes after about a month or 2 months maximum.
All right. And also, we do cover microscope use in the online training course with an introduction to all the parts, how to use it correctly, maintenance and general information. And this is all covered in the first module of the training course, where we encourage attendees to repeat the module until they feel competent and then practice until they're proficient in using the microscope with ease and confidence. Do you have anything to add to that, Dr. Ocker?
Not really, just that it is really, it boils down to practice, taking samples and spending time behind the microscope, and the more you practice, the better the more proficient you become at it, and that's the most important thing, is practice.
Yeah. We have two more questions. One is, I am not technical and have never used a microscope.
All right. I've trained quite a large number of practitioners already in live blood analysis, probably around 100 practitioners, and I've had quite a few clients who didn't feel that they were technically minded enough to work on a microscope. That's also something important perhaps to mention about the systems, is that they've been developed specifically for live blood analysis and not for anything else. A lot of the other high specification type of dark field microscopes have a lot of extras, extra settings and extra things that can be adjusted, and that it becomes a bit more complicated when using the microscope, because there are more things that need to be checked when you are using the microscope. So we've made quite sure that these microscopes are as easy as possible to work with, and we do cover the use of the microscope and what to adjust where in a lot of detail in the course, and we are more than happy to help with any specific questions as well if you get stuck with something.
Okay, great, thank you. And now on to the last question, which I've kept to the last. What price microscope and how soon can I recoup my costs? So let's go on to the pricing of the microscope. As I say, all this information is available on the website, but here is the price of the microscope that we do recommend. So again, over to you, Dr. Ocker.
All right. Well, these microscopes have been put together so that you're able to utilize live blood analysis to its full potential right from the outset. So we've got a standard system, the 50 watt, the first one there for $4,999 US. That's the sort of entry level live blood system that gives you everything that you really need to be able to use live blood analysis. And then we've added a few optional extras with the system, which really just comes down to preference at the end of the day. So we have the normal standard system with high definition, the HD, high definition video video setup. So that would be 5411 US dollars. And then the other two systems there are just the LED system. So we have a standard video setup that has LED illumination for 5250, and then a LED system with a high definition video system, and that's sort of the premium system in the range for 5661 US dollars. So the high definition system, generally the video system that comes with the standard system is fairly, the definition is fairly good, and it's adequate if you're going to be viewing your blood samples on a normal computer monitor. But if you planning to project the images onto a larger screen, then a high definition system is actually very, very nice. And also the benefit mainly with the LED system is that the LED lamps last a lot longer than the halogen type of lamps. So you know, for clients that prefer not to have to change the light bulb in the system from time to time, the LED system would be more suitable to them.
Okay, thank you. Now that's based on a currency rate of US dollar GB pound at 1.6, so it would actually be a little bit cheaper than that now because we have to base it on 1.65. And also, Dr. Ocker, is that the price including shipping?
Yes, actually that does include shipping. There may be, in some countries, there may be some income taxes that would need to be paid to release the systems from customs. But generally the shipping to your country is included in this price.
Okay, and that is shipping to the UK, everything included, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so any questions on that? Don't seem to have any questions so far. So let's go on to the second part of that question, which was how soon can I recoup my costs? So let's have a look. If you go to livebloodonline.com, you will see in the contact and links, you will see equipment needed to get started. So you can get it there in US dollars, you can find it there in UK pounds. You can't find it yet in Australia, New Zealand or Canada because I haven't done that yet, but I'll be doing that very soon. And again, drop us a line if you do want it in your currency, and drop us a line if you have any problems. It's also in our information pack, so lots of places you can find that information. So that's the equipment needed to get started, and this is the basics of what you will need. Latex gloves, microscope slides and covers, immersion oil, lancets, Kim wipes, antiseptic wipes. These are the prices here in pounds. Insurance per annum around £60. For example, one good way of getting a good insurance price is to join the Complementary Health Association in the UK or the Complementary Medical Association, because usually they offer half-price insurance deals, so that's a good way of getting a good rate for your insurance. PAT testing, that's the UK. You may be required by some centres to get your electrical equipment PAT tested annually. It's very simple. You take your equipment to an electrician or find a local electrician who will come to you and PAT test your equipment. That needs to be done once a year, and that's per piece of equipment it's around £7.50, so that's about £40 a year. Health and safety recommendations or regulations, again this is in our information pack, where to go and the guidelines to set up a health and safety routine, as well as you have to display a poster for health and safety regulations. That costs around £20. Waste disposal in the UK If you're working in a public environment, you may want to take a contract with a company to take away your used slides and lancets to dispose of safely. We suggest you take a contract with a lab disposal company. They deliver special bins and then they pick up your waste every week or every month. And now that costs around £50 a month in the UK. Marketing and printing, now you have to set your own budget. If you're already practicing and you already have a client base and you're already a practitioner, you may not need to spend so much, but if you're new, you will need some advertising budget. Unless you're joining an established health centre, or as I say, you're already established. So we've put that at the very minimum there of £25 a month. So that brings us to a total of £235 a month. This is basic setting up costs, or in dollars that's $375. Okay, so let's go on to premises. You may already have your own practice. Most of you will already have your own practice, but if not, here's a few hints and information on people who are just starting out. So if you decide you can work from home, this is advantageous. It's got advantages and disadvantages. Many practitioners find working from home a very successful and satisfactory solution for themselves and their clients. Or you may already have your own practice or a room available to you, even better if it's in a busy location. You may also want to work in collaboration or alongside another practitioner, or find a space in a gym, a health clinic, a nutritionist practice. Excuse me, or some live blood analysis practitioners even work alongside doctors in a doctor's surgery. And you'll also find that rooms are often available in existing health clinics and gyms, both ideal for getting new clients. Otherwise, look to rent a space somewhere where there'll be lots of people passing by. So rents will be charged by the year, month, week, day, hour, or blocks of time. And rents vary across the country. In London, for example, the average hourly rate is £10 to £12, up to £30 in Harley Street in central London. And many places rent by the hour. Some will require to take a regular slot, that will be so many hours a week. You'll also be required to pay some deposit and advance payment. You may also need references. So this is an average cost of, say, £10 an hour, 10 hours a week. That will cost you £400, which is $640, plus a deposit returnable of £400, $640. You will require a room with adequate lighting, a desk. That is very important. It has to be at a comfortable height to operate your microscope. Not many desks are at that right height, so you have to find something that fits in there. You'll also need chairs because clients often bring family and friends along for the consultation. There may be other costs involved, laptop, travel, parking, etc. But this is the cost of basic essential equipment. Of course, you may prefer to spend a lot more on your printing and marketing or rent, but this should get you up and running. And you may decide to work from home or have your own premises, in which case that will cut out part of the rental deposit and the rental costs above. So that's a basic summary. Now, we often get asked how long it will take to recoup the cost of setting up. This is a difficult question to answer because it depends on your circumstances, location, and many other factors. But consultation prices will vary. £180 is the current price for consultation in London, and outside London it's approximately £120. Some practitioners also charge half of that for follow-up appointments. You will need to do the research in your own area to find out the comparable prices, and if you are in another country, obviously you'll have to do some research into what people charge in your local area in your country. Now, my live blood analysis tutor advised never to undersell yourself or live blood analysis, and I think this is quite important. He says that when the price of a consultation is high, a higher value is put on the treatment, and the result is that the client is then more encouraged to follow recommendations. Now, we all know that when clients follow recommendations, they get the desired results. The consequence is that your reputation as a practitioner is enhanced. Now, sell low and a low value is perceived. Clients don't follow recommendations. Your reputation suffers because client doesn't get good results. And think about that. I do believe in that, but that's entirely up to you. So, on to potential income. We're basing this on 5 appointments a week. Now, each appointment in the beginning will take about 1.5 hours with the questionnaire and everything that you need to go through to find out all about the client. So we've allowed 1.5 hours for each appointment. So 5 appointments a week, that's 20 appointments a month. That will be 7.5 hours a week or 30 hours a month. So in the beginning, we suggest a reduced introductory rate of, say, £60 a consultation, and that would result in £300 a week, $495, or £1,200 a month, which is $1,980. So as we say, you know, for your price in your area, do your research, but don't undersell yourself. We suggest you charge a special introductory rate when you start up to introduce your clients to live blood analysis. This also helps you to gain lots of experience. Now, once you're confident and proficient, you'll be able to charge the going rate in your area. You can also use cut price sales sites like Groupon to fill any spaces in your diary. Now, I ran with Groupon very successfully for some years by running ads every few months with a cap on the number of clients. Groupon allows this. This is so that you don't get overwhelmed. I learned my lesson the first time I ran an ad with Groupon. I got 790 appointments. So I learned the hard way not to do that. So always cap. And Groupon supply an online booking system now, so all you have to do is give them your quiet times and Groupon fills them with clients. It's very efficient. Now, the income is low compared to your normal price, but I built up a huge database of clients who sent me lots of referrals this way, and eventually you won't have space to fill with Groupon. So this is your potential income starting out with 5 appointments a week at a basic cost of £60, and that would result in $300 a week, $495, $1,200 a month, which is $1,980. So, of course, all expenses, costs and recouping of setting up would need to be taken into account, but I hope you can see that recouping of costs could be covered quite quickly. So let's see now if we base it on the same 5 appointments a week. That's 20 appointments a month. That's 7.5 hours a week, 30 hours a month. Now, eventually charging a rate of £120 a consultation. Now, this would result in £600 a week, which is $990, or $2,400 a month, which is $3,960. And again, as we said earlier, you can see how soon you can recoup your investment. It will depend on your setup, where you're located, and your circumstances. But I hope you can see that, you know, it is possible to recoup your costs quite quickly. Now, once you build up a following, you'll be asked to do follow-up consultations for your clients. This will take less time because you already have a lot of the information from your health questionnaire and the previous appointment. So you may want to add 5 hours a week for follow-up consultations at a reduced rate for your regular clients. So let's take that into account now. So again, we're basing this on 5 appointments a week at £120, plus now we've got 5 returning appointments at £60. So 5 appointments a week, 1.5 hours, plus 5 appointments at 1 hour. We're up to 12.5 hours a week now. So that's 20 times 120, that's 600 a week, plus 5 at half price, 5 at £60, that's another 300 a week. So we have a total now of £900 a week. So 900 a week, $1,485, which is $3,600 a month. That's $5,940 a month. So again, I hope you can see how soon you can recoup your costs here. Now let's base this on full London price. This is the full potential, where you can charge £108 for a consultation. So again, 1.5 hours for each appointment, plus 5 returning appointments at half price, which is £90. So 5 appointments a week at 1.5 hours is 5 appointments plus 5 appointments at 1 hour. That's still 12.5 hours a week, and that will result in 1,350 a week, which is 2,227, which is 5,400 a month, which is 8,910. So that is the huge potential. Now if we take it to the full potential, which is 10 appointments a week based on the full London price at 180, plus 5 returning appointments at 90. I won't go through all of this again, but you can have a look at this at your leisure through the recording. This is $2,250 a week, which is $3,712, or $9,000 a month, which is $14,850. That seems an awful lot of money, but that is quite achievable. We're talking 20 hours a week here at 180. Of course, this would all depend on how many hours a week you're prepared to spend and what price you're getting. And as I said earlier, it depends on where you're located and your circumstances. But that can show you how soon costs can be recouped. Also, additional services to offer your clients. You may want to offer blood group testing for blood group specific diets. Most of my clients want to know their blood type. You can bulk buy blood type kits from medical suppliers. We'll tell you where to get them in the UK. It's another great service for your clients. Most of my clients want to find out their blood type. Their doctors either don't know or they won't provide this. And most clinics, if you can find one, charge fortunes for this service. So that's a really good service to offer clients as well. Also, health products. A lot of people are interested in York allergy testing. It's now Larisian in the UK. pH testing kits, detoxing information and products, juicing and cleansing info and products, books, training if you're a fitness professional, nutritional advice and supplements if you're a qualified nutritional advisor. These are all things to offer clients. So the conclusion to all of this is the microscopes can cost from $3,120 up to $3,530 in dollars. That's $4,999 to $5,661. Training courses. We offer an online training course at $599. It's $799 on our website, and it is going up soon. So if you want to take advantage of that, please do. It's currently still advertised at $599 here. Which is $960. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. On-site, which is where you actually go and study with live blood analysis trainers. Now that can cost anything from $500 up to $5,000 plus travel and accommodation, depending on where you go. There are, for example, Dr. Young, I think he charges something like $10,000. So they can cost anything from $500 up to $5,000, which is $800 to $8,000 in dollars. Correspondence courses, now they can cost anything from $250 up to $750, which is $412 to $1,200. And the other small equipment which we went through earlier, $235 to $370, which is $376 in dollars. And also you'll have your premises on top of that. And the potential income based on 5 appointments a week, based on 5 appointments a week at 1.5 hours each appointment. In the beginning, charging £60 would result in £300 a week, or £1,200 a month, which is £1,980, up to the full potential, which is 10 appointments a week at £180, which would be £9,000 a month, which is $14,850. So that is the full potential. So that brings us to the end. I hope it's been useful and helpful, and I hope it's helped you to understand that the cost of setting up your live blood analysis, and also how soon that you can recoup the costs. Now, Live Blood Online and Neogenesis Systems, we do run regular certified online training courses. The courses are interactive, well presented with video and diagrams, charts and pictures. It allows you to ask questions throughout. All the modules are recorded, so you can go back to the material as many times as you want and access it anywhere, anytime that you need, as long as you have an internet connection. And we also supply the best quality microscopes, as Dr. August has explained, at the best possible prices anywhere in the world. So if you would like any more info from us on setting up your live blood analysis practice, or if we can be of any help to you, or if you'd like an info pack, please email us at info@livebloodonline.com. And if you want any more information, there's lots of information there on the website at www.livebloodonline.com. So we hope that's been useful to you. So thank you very much from me, and thank you very much, Dr. Ocker.
Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for attending. I hope you found it interesting.
Thank you very much from both of us. Thanks and good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.